Hand, right?
Yeah.
That's a very idle hand scene. But like for you got, but this again came first, so idle hand, took it. But I that's what, since I saw idle hand before I saw this, that's what I think of.
Was Idle Hands, is that like a 90s or a 2000s
90s movie? Yeah, with Jessica Alba.
And who played was it
Devon Sawa?
He played, it was the lead from Final Destination.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah, that guy.
In Eminem's video. Yeah. He was in Chucky, the TV series.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, one of the reasons that because if you look at Bruce Campbell in that scene, it's full on like slapstick, Three Stooges, Benny Hill type physicality.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that you see a lot more of that in this movie is because Bruce and Sam felt more comfortable being themselves and letting their characters. And I'm doing a disservice to the movie by not listing everyone involved with it.
Yeah, because right now on screen, we're looking at kind of a big name here. Hold on.
Even the production crew, everyone involved, it's a lot of people who came back from the first movie, and people who really cut their teeth on the first movie. So it's not just Bruce and Sam's baby. There's a whole team of them, but like right now we're seeing Bruce smashing plates over his head. That physicality is them like saying like, hey, this is our movie, we can kind of do whatever the fuck we want, let's make it like us. So that's why they kind of veered more into the comedy and less into the straight horror.
Yeah,
because if you ask Sam Raimi, he'll tell you he's not like a huge horror guy because he scares easily.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I remember reading that when we were talking about Drag Me to Hell. I do love this. Yeah, he's taking the plates. He was pulling his own hair. You see the cross-eyed. He's going cross-eyed, kind of like having all of this happen and stuff. So it is very Benny Hill, Three Stooges, Charlie Chaplin kind of thing.
Yeah, I think what I noticed last night, this is a very iconic scene in the movie. He chainsaws off his own hand, and this is when things are not going back to how they were ever.
Yeah.
This is just such an iconic shot. It's got the blood all over his face. Man.
And the fact that he, like, the hand is pulling like a 170-pound dude, like just across the floor. It's fantastic.
And here they are walking through the woods. This is what I was talking about, with the pages in the glass case, and they're like carrying them like they're about to show them to somebody. Nice denim jacket.
So that character, Bobby Joe, who is played by Cassie Wesley DePava, plays Bobby Joe. The look that she has on and all of everything about her. At one point when Sam Raimi, he was sharing an apartment with, I think, the Coen brothers and Frances McDormand and Holly Hunter.
Could you imagine sharing an apartment with the fucking Coen brothers?
And Frances McDormand and Holly Hunter, all those people living in like one place.
Yeah.
But Holly Hunter was going to audition for a movie, and she was doing like a Southern twang and had on kind of that exact denim outfit. And Sam actually lobbied to get Holly Hunter in this movie, but I don't think she could do it because of her schedule. But that entire look is based off of Holly Hunter from a screen test that she did.
That's amazing. Yeah. Did we also mention that, because this is just such a slapstick, kind of ridiculous, wonderful kind of comedy horror movie. This is Bruce Campbell's favorite one.
Yeah.
Out of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Which I do appreciate. Like, that's really cool that you just like looked at this movie like, this is my favorite thing right now. Because then you can tell that the actors do, not that they don't do an incredible job even when they don't like the film that they're in. I just think they get more creative and they put a little bit more effort into roles that they're just like, dude, we can do this in the greatest way.
Yeah. For this movie specifically, Bruce was so like dedicated, and it was so physically taxing on him. They had him train with a personal trainer.
He would have had to. I mean, look at how much I think we're only halfway through the movie, and look at how many stunts and things he's had to do. He just ripped apart a kitchen by himself.
Yeah.
Because he had to fight his own hand.
Yeah, so if you look later on when like his jacket or his shirt is torn open, he's got like a legit six-pack going on, because he was hitting the gym like every day before and during the
method acting.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like 80s buff.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
I love that stop motion hand. I love stop motion animation. It's my favorite type of animation to watch. And just like getting to have it here is just so cool too.
Yeah.
Oh man, the shot where all the blood flies out of the wall.
And I'm sorry, I do like also how the hand just turned into this kind of grotesque, like long nails and like skin's all gross and everything. Like I do appreciate how this like straight up went into a real like demon hand
Yeah.
from his like normal, perfectly man looking hand to a straight up demon hand.
Mezco Toys did an Ash figure, and one of the accessories is the demonic hand making the middle finger.
That's the greatest thing ever.
It is. It's great.
Jay, you'd be glad to know that my action figure collecting has really picked up in the last couple of years. So
Fantastic.
I think you'd see my collection, you'd be proud.
Are you just doing Transformers, or are you doing all kinds of stuff?
All kinds of stuff. It's mostly Transformers. I'm starting to get a good Batman collection. I got a good Ninja Turtles collection. Just all the stuff I liked when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's the way to do it.
So Sam Raimi movies are famous for the special kind of rigs that they use for the special effects and everything. Did we talk about the chainsaw smoke at all?
No. we did
Okay.
not.
So there's this really neat little tidbit, as Sam Raimi does with all his wonderful special effects. So that's not real chainsaw smoke. It's
Right.
actually tobacco smoke. He hooked up a tube to the back of the chainsaw, and he was smoking and blowing into the tube to get that smoke to come out.
Yeah.
I just think that's like, again, Sam Raimi geniusness.
Yeah. One of Sam's favorite things about doing movies with Bruce Campbell specifically, he likes to be like
Very involved.
very
involved.
So frequently, if you see something hitting Bruce in the face, it's more than likely Sam doing the hitting.
It's basically two best friends made a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like two best friends made a movie, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna let's keep this going. And it became like cult classics.
Yeah.
So they just got to like celebrate these wonderfully over the top movies together for years and years and years. And I think that's so cool.
So I could be mistaken. Are they doing another sequel or another reboot to the
So
I heard something.
they are doing another sequel.
Is it to the newer Evil Dead, or is it to this?
No, it's
Okay.
in the world of these movies.
Okay.
So-
but it's its
Okay.
own thing.
It's
okay.
called Evil Dead Rise, and it's following
Rise, Rise.
Mhm.
Okay.
and it's following the Necronomicon, not Ash, because I actually have a quote. Like Bruce is done.
Yeah.
He's not doing.
I mean, he's
like 70, right?
yeah, like he can't physically
He's
do
not.
this anymore.
He's not 70, but he's getting up there. And he said, "There's not going to be any traditional form of Evil Dead anymore. Ash is gone. I've retired the character because I physically just can't do him anymore. So why bother? It's time to hang up the chainsaw. But we are still filmmakers. We're still producers. We're all creative type dudes, and we're like, how do we keep this going otherwise? So that's why they're kind of,
Cool.
they've said if the guy who did the Evil Dead remake wants to do a sequel to that, they're game. They'll produce it. You know what I mean?
Whoa,
But they're doing more in the world of Evil Dead.
that's
So
amazing.
there will be more Evil Dead movies, but it's going to be kind of their own unique thing.
Cool.
Well, that's cool. I mean, you can keep a franchise going if you do it well. Some people
Yeah.
are doing like the
I mean,
Mandalorian.
why do you think there's like
Star Wars does it
18
well.
Fast and Furious movies?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, well, those aren't necessarily done well, but they're fun. Like people like watching them. I mean,
Yeah.
I just watched the last one. Was it 9? Like a couple
I don't know.
weeks
I've
ago?
never seen a single one of them.
It was awful, but it was still so outlandishly entertaining. Like
Yeah.
I don't always need my movie to make a lot of sense. Like,
Yeah.
No.
You just want to have fun. You want to
Yeah.
have fun with it.
Yeah. I
yeah,
think
definitely.
there's definitely something to be said for, I call them popcorn movies.
Yeah.
So it's just a movie where you shut your brain off and shove popcorn in your mouth. And at the end of it, you're like, oh, that was fun. And then you move on with your day.
Cool. Now, Chris, what did you think about the like 2013 Evil Dead?
I thought it was okay. I think maybe if I had not seen the original ones, I might not even have watched it.
Sure.
It looked like an early 2000s horror movie, to be honest. It didn't. I don't know if there's anything really super special about it, but I've only watched it once or twice, so
Okay.
I'm gonna reserve judgment on that one.
I would recommend revisiting because I think it's a much better movie than you are remembering. Yeah.
And I will tack onto that. It's actually the scariest movie I've ever seen. So I had seen, So like I said, I'm turning 30, but like they at a older movie theater down in Cuyahoga Falls, where I lived near Cuyahoga Falls. There was a theater called the Plaza 8, and so they would have like
I've been there.
they would have retro nights and stuff. And so in 2013, when the remake of The Evil Dead was like everywhere and like they were doing a lot of marketing and promotion for it and stuff, Plaza 8 played the original Evil Dead for a weekend so that you could see it before the remake of it. So I actually got to see the first Evil Dead on the big screen, which it was such a cool thing to do. And I loved it from the very start of the movie to the end. I loved it. I thought it was hysterical. So I went in to the 2013 version thinking it was going to be kind of comical as well. Oh, I think I probably cried a little bit because I was so scared. And then I went home and slept with all the lights on in my house for a solid month. And that is not an exaggeration. It was a month, because the makeup and everything, like the special effects, they just scared me. I just thought they were so well done and so believable that I just was like, okay, I can't do this. So I've only seen that one twice. I won't watch it. I won't even have it in my house. I just think that was the scariest thing. So yeah, I watched it once in the theater, and then my boyfriend at the time, like a few years later, I think 2016. Yeah, I wouldn't watch it. 3 years later, I watched it because he wanted to see it. I was like, I can't. He goes, no, it'll be fine. We're here. It's fine. We're home. You're comfortable. Nope. So I swear, lights on, solid week.
I can't wait for someone to be like, I want to watch the Evil Dead remake on your podcast.
No, we're not watching it. I'm just going to be absent that day. You're going to have a new co-host for that day. Could you imagine?
I don't even really get scared by movies anymore. The only one that really gives me a little bit of a creep anymore is still The Exorcist. That's the only one that really ever scared me badly.
Yeah.
And still creeps me out a little bit.
Yeah, solid. No, rightfully so.
I can watch any horror movie at any time of day and be fine.
Yeah, I think every once in a while I'll watch something like I Spit in Your Grave or A Last House on Your Left. After that, I'll need like a cleansing type thing, because those are horrific in that they're not scary, but like the
Just
evils
really bad shit.
It's the worst. I mean, I Spit on Your Grave is probably one of the worst things you could possibly do to a person.
No.
Like I can't imagine anything worse.
Yeah, I got a lot of that film. I've never seen it. I don't know if I want.
Please don't.
Yeah,
Please don't. 70s version, 2020 version. Don't. You're not missing anything.
We've talked about this. I have a huge appreciation for like the 70s grindhouse type stuff.
Yeah.
So I enjoy stuff like that as much as you can. You know what I mean? But I don't recommend them for everyone.
Yeah, it's not.
Stuff that really creeps me out is things that actual humans do to real people.
Yeah.
That's what creeps me out.
Yeah, then these are not your type of movies. And I would say the newer Last House on the Left, the one with Jennifer Lawrence, that one I think you can get away with, because I don't think there's anything relation, because I think I saw that one in theaters.
It follows pretty closely,
but you don't get the same things.
Yeah, there's something the original, it was not Sam Raimi, it was Wes Craven's like first movie.
Yeah, it's very gritty, it's very raw, it's like very like we're not implying, we're not alluding, we're showing. Like you're gonna exactly what happened. So it's rough. It's rough to see. So is there like, that was June had an opinion on that as well. So is there like so we talked about this last week. Jay has a really high tolerance for bad movies. I typically don't. I don't have the patience, because I feel like if I'm gonna watch something, I need it to be worth watching. But Jay, has a very high tolerance, a lot of patience with like D, E, F, XYZ horror movies. Do you have kind of the same?
It's probably not as high as Jay's, but it's higher than yours, I would say. I like some bad movies. I like some bad 80s movies. Over the last winter, it was cold and nobody was going out and doing anything. So I watched a lot of really bad 80s movies. There's this movie called Robot Wars that I watched. I don't know if you've seen it. It is fantastic. It is all stop motion robots, and they're like big mechs. It's almost like Gundam.
Okay.
But with 90s technology. if that makes sense. So
Yes.